question to Richard. The film, The Man Behind the White Guitar. Could you tell us in one sentence, what is it regarding? What is it about?
It's the music and life of José Neto. He's a Brazilian guitarist and songwriter who's played alongside people like Harry Belafonte in his early career, and lately with Steve Winwood, who obviously is from the UK. Now he's been playing, for the last 20 years, he's been playing a very unique guitar. It's a Swiss-made solid body white guitar. It's very distinctive.
Right. And so basically the white guitar is synonymous with the man José Neto.
Exactly.
So I'd like to now ask Barbara, what inspired you about José Neto's life to choose his life and career as the subject of this film?
Thank you so much, Kamalika. I'm not sure if I chose this film or the film chose me. I really feel this was a project that came from the gut, not from the mind, so to speak. It was a feeling that I had when I met José that there was something I needed to do with him. I started to get to know him at a local cafe. I honestly didn't even know who he was. I've always been an aficionado of guitarist, the guitar music, and I was actually quite surprised that I had never heard his name. So I guess you could add a little bit of ego into that narrative in the beginning of like, why don't I know who you are? Especially as I got to understand his history with Belafonte and Winwood, and then of course all of the jazz greats, and really understand his music. And so I felt there was something there that just needed to be told. And as I started to work with this project, and it's not my project, it's really a collective project at this stage, I began to see that it was not just his music, but it was the narrative of what we were doing as filmmakers, creating a bigger story together. And that's what began to grow and breed through the 5 years that we began to make this film, and created this film. And it was an incredible journey. And in the end, I'm able to look back and go, now I understand why I had to make this film.
Well, what message can the audience derive out of these tragic life circumstances that have shaped José Neto's life as we observe?
Music is such a powerful collective way, something that we can all share as a national and international discourse language. It goes deep into us. As I understand it from Neto, and I think he has said this, or others have said this about him, that music that he produced following her death was incredibly powerful. And how tragedy can also bring us together. And her spirit was very much part of this film. I honestly believe that. As a mother myself, I can only imagine what that might have felt like. So I think, and that again is part of the messaging in this film, is the power of healing, the power of taking something negative and creating something positive for it. And music is certainly one way of doing that. So I think ultimately that her story, his daughter's story, is also part of the collective story. Taking the negative, what we can't control, but how do we take that and then create it into something that is bigger for everyone?
Richard, I would like you to please comment on your views about the message and the values that this film gives to us.
Well, I mean, I've been through similar things to Neto, and when you come through things like that, it's sort of, it makes you realize that you can do anything. You can rise above everything and actually carry on, and things heal. Things get better, and you can actually create. Especially being a musician, you can create new things all the time. So I think it's a case of just having a belief in yourself to actually move on, move past everything that happens. You just take a higher view of everything. This is the way I feel.
Barbara, I'd just like to ask you your last thoughts regarding this movie and your whole experience in just a few lines.
Thank you. I would like to dovetail off of what Richard said, because I learned so much through the process of as an artist working with Neto and through this film process. And Neto has this unmistakable ability to look past the negativity. And I think for a takeaway, it was one of the most powerful processes for me, because it's really freed me in so many ways, not only as an artist, but just on so many other aspects of my life. Look for the positive thread in life and follow that. You know, he's been a person who has not chased money or fame, and that has been part of the entire story of how did this guy not get recognized, but it hasn't bothered him. And that, in the ultimate end, is his fame, I think, because it shows you don't need to chase those things. Find what is meaningful to you and brings you joy. And in that act, I think you end up bringing so many other people that same kind of joy.
That is such a beautiful and positive message for all of us to take back from this movie, Barbara. And believe in yourself to live the dream, as the movie ends with that note. So on that note, I'd like to thank both Barbara and Richard for joining us tonight on this wonderful interview. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Barbara and Richard.